Hey guys, it's me, Kevin, and after a long AFL season, well, actually short in length, but long in time, the AFL season is finally coming to an end. Round 18 will be the last round of the home and away season before the finals, and there's quite a bit to play for. There's 3 teams fighting for 3rd and 4th place for the double chance, and there's 4 teams fighting for the last 2 spots in the top 8. So, without further ado, let's get into the round. On Thursday night, West Coast v North Melbourne. Alright, I think West Coast are absolutely going to flog North Melbourne. They're just hopeless right now, the Kangaroos. They could win the wooden spoon, honestly, at the rate they're going. I think Eagles are going to flog North Melbourne because they're playing like absolute rubbish right now. They don't have any direction in them. They're just hopeless. Meanwhile, for the Eagles, they're going to try and pull off a scoring record, like try and win by 100, 200 points. And they're going to try and break every scoring record possible to try and jump over Geelong. But then they're going to figure out that it's actually so hard, especially in these 16-minute quarters, that they can't actually break a record like Geelong in 2011. So, look, I don't think they're going to, break records, but they're going to certainly give it a try to try and jump into the top 4. Look, the Eagles will smash North Melbourne regardless if they break a record or not. It's going to be a flogging nonetheless. Friday night is an interesting game. 2 of the 4 teams fighting for 7th and 8th place is St Kilda and GWS. This is going to be a hard-fought contest between both sides. We saw GWS Melbourne, when was it, last Saturday? That was a tight contest. Honestly, one of the games of the season. 2 teams trying to fight for a top 8 spot. Melbourne winning, but that was a good game. Honestly, it was a high brand standard of football. I think we're going to see another one on Friday night between 2 teams fighting for the 8. I think GWS will win it just on experience here. Saints don't really have any proven stars. They've got a lot of good players, but they don't have the class that GWS have. Now, yes, they have been out of form for quite a bit this year, at certain parts of the year, but look, I think when a game like that is on the line, I think GWS's class and experience will beat St Kilda's and will at least put pressure on the 8. I don't think they'll make it though, but it'll put pressure. At last, the cancelled round 3 game from all the way back in June. You remember that game between Essendon and Melbourne? It was a game that got cancelled due to Conor McKenna testing positive to coronavirus. Yeah, well, that game will finally be played after both teams played all of their other games. Anyway, one of the biggest beneficiaries coming out from that COVID test has to be the Melbourne Demons, who, let's face it, if I was predicting this game all the way back in round 3, I said Essendon would win. They were in some good form at the time. Melbourne, they had just come off a 1-point win against Carlton, very unconvincing. Essendon I would have tipped Essendon. I think I did tip Essendon before it got called off. But anyways, that game got cancelled, and both teams have gone in opposite directions since round 3. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if Melbourne dropped this game just because of their record against lower-ranked teams. But look, Essendon, they're just out of form at the moment. They're hapless. They don't know what they're doing. They're just dysfunctional. Look, I think Melbourne, surely they're going to actually win this time. I would expect Essendon to win, but I just think Melbourne have got too much to play for. And if they play the way they played last week, then they should smash Essendon easily. Saturday afternoon at Adelaide Oval, Adelaide versus Richmond. Adelaide are currently in some decent form. They've won their last 3 games after losing their first 13. Oh, by the way, Adelaide, while you're at it, can you win your 4th game in a row and help our boys, the Eagles, jump the top 4? Because I don't think breaking records ourselves will do anything. So could you help beat Richmond so we can make the 4? Thank you. Look, I'm going to tip Richmond because, it's pretty obvious. Adelaide low on the ladder. Richmond, most informed team of the comp. Although there is some hope. Adelaide, remember, you've beaten this team every single time you two have played on Adelaide Oval. So if you could do that just at least one more time, help the Eagles out and help the rest of the AFL out, okay? Help the rest of the AFL out because if Richmond win, then it's just going to be boring. I'm talking about the premiership here. So yeah, and if you do that, I might consider tipping you just to give you some self-esteem. But I would advise you guys tip Richmond because I don't think Adelaide will actually win. Anyway, Saturday night, Brisbane v Carlton. You got to go Brisbane. There isn't much in this game. Look, Brisbane will be fighting for a spot in the minor premiership. Take out the McLean Trophy. Carlton have got nothing to play for. They haven't been all that great recently. Lost to Adelaide. Yeah, nothing much. Brisbane win. Sunday afternoon, Hawthorn and Gold Coast. Disappointing season for Hawthorn. Gold Coast, I guess. They play better than they have previous years, so I guess that's something for them. Look, I'm going to tip Gold Coast here, just because Hawthorn Day just seems so out of place. Gold Coast, they've been competitive all year. They haven't had that, drop. Well, they've had a drop-off, obviously. But that, in previous years when they had that drop-off that they'd be flogged, that they'd be getting thrashed by about 90, 100 points every week for the rest of the year. Yeah, it hasn't gotten to that point this year with them. It's only gotten to the point where they play well for a half, and then they lose by 3-4 goals. They've been respectable in their losses for the majority of the year. So I think Gold Coast playing against a hapless Hawthorn side, they can finish their decent season on a high, and I think Gold Coast will win. Sunday afternoon, Geelong and Sydney. Look, I think Geelong will win. And even if the Eagles break a record, which I hope they do, I think Geelong will try and break a record of their... Well, not break a record, but they'll try and have a thrashing of their own against Sydney and reclaim their top 4 spots. So come on. Oh, Sydney, if Adelaide don't win, could you do us a favour by any chance and defeat the Eagles? Defeat Geelong so the Eagles can make top 4? Yeah. Sunday twilight at Kazooie Stadium, Fremantle and the Western Bulldogs. And guess what? I'm tipping Fremantle, yes. I know, the Bulldogs are playing for a final spot, but this is the Bulldogs. I mean, sure, I could probably be using that same argument for Melbourne, but let's face it, Freo are in much better form than Essendon. Look, I think Fremantle are going to cause an upset here. They're playing well right now. They've won 5 out of their last 8. They've taken a few scalps in that time as well, and I think they're going to beat the Western Bulldogs in what's going to be an embarrassing game for the latter. Yeah, I just think the Bulldogs are going to collapse like they always do. Yeah, they're just the most inconsistent team in the competition, and I honestly have a feeling that Fremantle will pull off an upset win on Sunday. And on Monday, Port Adelaide would have obviously received a bid for the minor premiership by Brisbane, so Port Adelaide have to go out themselves most likely and win against Collingwood themselves to claim the minor premiership for themselves. How many times have they used themselves in that sentence? Anyway, look, I think Port will win to claim the minor premiership. Collingwood, they don't really have much to play for, apart from potentially avoiding that trip to WA, but that's just about it. Apart from that, they've made the finals, so yeah, I'll be going with Port Adelaide to win. So, to recap my tips, I am tipping West Coast, GWS, Melbourne, Richmond, Brisbane, Gold Coast, Geelong, Fremantle, and Port Adelaide. But Adelaide and Sydney, can I ask both of you a favour? Please win on the weekend and help the Eagles get into the top 4. And Eagles, obviously, you guys need to win. I think you know that, so you have to win. Anyway, hope you liked this video. Please like, please subscribe, comment what you think down below, who you think will win. Check out some of my other videos, and I'll see you next week for the finals. Goodbye.